Datura. At a first glance, this rather innocent looking flower seems rather nice and looks like something you may have in a bouquet, but this drug is not nearly as innocent as it seems, and it very much so deserves the nickname of the devil's trumpets. Datura is a highly poisonous flowering plant that belongs to the nightshade family. All species of Datura are extremely poisonous and psychoactive, specifically their seeds and their flowers, which, just for a brief, can cause respiratory depression, fever, delirium, hallucinations, anticholinergic syndrome, psychosis, and even death. And due to these severe effects and symptoms, Datura species of plants have occasionally been used not only as psychedelics, but also as poisons throughout history. Traditionally, around colonial times, the psychoactive effects have been associated with witchcraft and sorcery, but to some Native American groups, the Datura plant has been used ritualistically. This plant did play a semi-significant role for these two groups in the past, although knowing what we know now about this seemingly harmless plant, I cannot imagine what would have been going through these people's minds when they took it. One risk factor associated with this drug that most people don't consider is the natural variation of the toxicity depending on specific factors like the age of the plant, where it's growing, and the local weather conditions, all of which can affect how strong the toxins are within this plant. If you're paying attention, you heard me say anticholinergic, which may sound familiar if you watched our second video about crazy drugs, specifically EA3167. If you haven't seen that video, EA3167 was basically a military-funded and produced anticholinergic drug that was made as a bioweapon, which fortunately didn't see much use, but was tested on American soldiers with extremely scary effects, which if you haven't seen that video yet, watch it after this one because that story is insane. Anticholinergic drugs reduce the brain's ability to use acetylcholine, which is essential for almost every function of the brain, including memory, motor skills, thinking, and things like that. So not only do you feel like a crazy person with dementia while you take this drug, but it's also been shown that long-term use of this drug can also literally cause you to develop dementia. I think this is the first psychoactive plant we've covered in this entire series that has been used almost equally as much as a poison as it has as a psychedelic. Maybe not equally, but definitely pretty heavily in both regards. From 1950 to 1965 alone, the state chemical laboratories in India investigated over 2,700 deaths caused by ingesting Datura. And those were just the cases that were investigated, not all of them. Many of these being murders. One thing that is extremely terrifying to me is that you can accidentally consume Datura toxins simply by consuming honey from the wrong species of wasp during the Datura blooming season due to cross-pollination. I think at this point you get the idea, but we haven't even discussed what this drug is like if you take a dose that doesn't kill you and you go into it intentionally looking for some sort of psychedelic experience. Well, for starters, people that ingest Datura typically begin to experience symptoms within 30 to 60 minutes. But the psychoactive component of ingesting can last anywhere from 24 to 48 hours typically, but has also been reported to last up to 2 weeks or longer. Just imagine a 2-week-long nightmare trip. Well, that's been a reality for multiple people.